Just trying to figure out why everything is all foggy and fuzzy. I don't know if it's the lens on my camera. So just give me a second to see if I can get this adjusted. It's weird. The last couple times it's been really fuzzy. All right. Not really too sure what the problem is, but happy Thursday. Sorry I had to start a little early today. I have a meeting at 7:30, so I figured I'd drop on. Really sorry that the picture is so fuzzy. I'm not really too sure why. I've adjusted my camera and it's just a little fuzzy. But I had an overwhelming response to this card during the week, so I decided this is the card I was going to work on tonight for our live. And then I created this cute little quick and easy candy holder. And it actually contains a Kit Kat bar. So it's a nice quick and easy project. And I left it with the same theme as the card, but added Merry Christmas. I figured it was a nice combination for another treat holder for a mail. So that was why I stuck to the same theme and just added Merry Christmas. Before I get started, I just wanted to mention that Friday, December 4th, I'm going to be having a tag buffet Zoom class. And if you purchase the tag buffet kit using this host code right here, I think I have this posted in my group, I will send you the link to the Zoom class. We'll be creating the tags from the kit plus alternate projects. So keep that in mind. It'll be December 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that should be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. So let's get started with this card. I started out with the new Cinnamon Cider, which is such a pretty color for, let me just see if the light, maybe it's the light that's doing it. The new Cinnamon Cider, which I love. It's a great color for fall. And it is our normal card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I will have all the directions on a PDF right here in this room tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. I'm not sure if the comments are working, so if they're not, I do apologize because I do not have any comments on this end. Now I did change this up a little bit. You'll notice that this is only one layer. This is the early espresso. But for tonight's card, I wasn't too pleased with the way the front of this card looks, so I am going to layer the early espresso with another layer of the cinnamon cider and then pop that whole layer up on the front of the card, just to give it a little bit of a nicer finish. But before that, we'll get all our elements together. So we can just assemble the card. Now I did do the leaves ahead of time. It's on It's gold embossed on early espresso, and the stamp comes from the Quite Curvy stamp set, and it also includes dies, and I don't have them all with me right here. I was doing a lot of die cutting, so that's what I used. I just used Versamark gold emboss, and then I die cut it with the coordinating die. Now for this piece here, the cinnamon cider with the curves, I'm going to use this as an example. But here is, I had someone question how I got the two sides curved. She was a little confused, so I'm just going to go through it a little bit. You'll notice on this die that it has the holes, and on one end of the die, I don't know if you can see it, but it has a ridge. Now that's your cutting ridge. So to get the top of this curve on this card, I'm going to take that ridge, that cutting ridge, and put it towards the top of this piece of paper. So it would cut right here, and then have the holes. Oops, my pen didn't work. It would cut right here, and then the holes would be right under it, just like this. So when I want to get the bottom side to match up a bit, we're going to take the die and completely turn it around. So now our cutting edge is going to be on the bottom, and you just want to line it up again, and it'll be cutting on this side of the die, and the holes would be right here. So all you're really doing is die cutting and then completely turning it around. So you're going to turn it 180 degrees and then die cut the bottom. And that will give you your next layer. So then you'll have your piece that's die cut out. So you're going to use this little edge to cut that piece of paper. And then we have our leaves. Now I did cut some of them out, but I do need a few more. So I did use the bumblebee, and I'm using soft suede. And I'm just going to grab one of these leaves right here. Now this is from, let me just grab it, the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. Comes with the leaves, an acorn, some sentiments, and then if you bundle it, did you see that? I put it right in the ink. It comes with 3 punches, an acorn and the 2 leaves, and that's what we'll be using tonight. Let me just wipe this off because I put it down right on the stamp pad. Okay, so I think I only need about 2, so I'm using the soft suede, and I'm just stamping my leaves. This leaf actually, if you see, it does come with a filler, so if you wanted to use it on Whisper White cardstock or very vanilla cardstock, or if you wanted to use it on a light color and add a darker color like brown or orange, you could do it with this stamp right here. But I decided to have my cardstock be the color of the leaf. And then while I'm at it, I am going to grab, and sorry for all the crazy little pieces, but I'm trying to use up all my scraps. Now this is Melon Mambo. Oops, didn't get that one good. Let me turn this around so we can, when we stamp it, and we're just going to stamp, we'll get 2 of these, and that's good. A little maple leaf. Then we're going to grab the oak leaf, and we're going to stamp this one too. Get them all stamped so we can punch them at the same time. And I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so we'll just make sure I have enough. Okay, then we're going to do the acorn. Now the acorn, I actually, and we'll punch these in a second, but while I have the stamp pad out, I figured we'd just get them all done. So I did stamp them here, but I didn't like the way they came out. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my acorns in the soft suede, just like this, and we are going to use the filler pieces for this acorn, and this is the little cap. Oops, right out of my hands. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to still use the soft suede. Make sure I ink that up good, and then I'm going to stamp it off and then fill in this little cap, making sure I line it up and fill that little cap. Then we're going to do the other one. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so we're done with the soft suede. We can put that aside. We're going to grab the bottom of the acorn to fill that in. And I'm jumping over to the cinnamon cider. And I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to stamp off and then fill in the bottom of this acorn. Just like that. So it just gives it a little color variation. Then I'm going to grab my light and dark cinnamon cider blend, and where the lines are for this stamp, that is where I'm going to color it in to give it some darkness, and under the cap. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the second one, just adding a little bit of darkness for shadow, just like that. Then I'm going to take the lighter of the two, and I'm just going to go over the edge a little to blend it, and then I'm just going to come in on the other side just a little bit. Extend that line a little, add a little color to the other side, and that just gives it a little dimension. And then I like to grab a white pencil and then add a little bit of extra white down there just to make it look like it has a little dimension to it. And I know the picture is a little fuzzy. I'm going to have to fix that. I'm really sorry. So now we can punch these out. But before I do that, even though this is very vanilla, I didn't really like how bright the white was when I put it up against the card. So I actually took the ivory blend with the brush end, and I'm just going to add some color around the acorn. So when I do punch it out, that white is just not that stark, or the very vanilla isn't so stark. It just makes a little bit of a difference, and I'll show you because I didn't do this one yet. But here is one that I didn't color. And then here is one that I did. So it's just a little bit different. And again, you can't even really tell because the feed is really, sorry about that. I'm just trying to get it to focus up a little. The camera's not focusing for me. Okay, so we're just going to line this up and punch those acorns. I think those should be enough. And then we're going to do the same thing with the maple leaf. Just line up the maple leaf. I don't know if anybody here, like I said, I don't have any comments, so I'm not really too sure why that is. It does that every once in a while, but we're just going to line these leaves up just like that, cut them out, and then we're going to go to the oak leaf, and we're going to do the same thing. So after the video is over, I do have a Stampin' Up! On Stage meeting tonight, which is pretty exciting. I should be recognized for a few different things, so I'm looking forward to that. See some new product, that's always exciting. Just like this Curvy, this is like a early release for the new catalog that's coming out. Okay, so we have our, I'm going to need two. So we have our leaves, we have our embossed piece, we have our cutout piece that we die cut with the waves. Now we have to add your 1 in a million. And this is embossed. You can see here it's embossed. So I just want to get a feel for where I would like to have this piece. And then I'm going to emboss it right underneath that piece, trying to get it as even as I can. So let me just grab my emboss. And it's going to be loud for just a minute, but let's get this embossed and then we can get this card put together. Get this out of the way. And I'm just going to stand so I can make sure that I have it in the right spot. Stamp it. And get some gold emboss. Make sure there's none on the outside. I always like to take a paintbrush and just make sure I brush off the emboss. And give me a minute and I will heat this up. It's funny, it always takes a couple minutes for that heat gun to warm up a little bit. Okay, so now we've got that embossed. Let's get our layers together. This is the fun and easy part. I'm going to glue this layer on the cinnamon cider. I like to use the glue on my layers Let's just close this Versamark up. You saw what I did with the soft suede. I like using glue when I do my layers, especially for the front of the card, because it just gives me a few minutes to move it around to make sure it's centered on the cardstock. Okay. Now, you know, when you heat up your cardstock, sometimes it curls. So we're just gonna, and I see that I didn't put enough glue right there. So I am just gonna grab a piece of paper, put a little bit of glue on it, and I'm just gonna insert it right here underneath, hold it down, pull that out. And then I just put some glue under there. Now it's glued down. Don't have to worry about it. And now I'm going to pop this up. Let me see what I did with my... Nope, don't want the little ones. Here's little ones again. Let's grab the larger dimensionals. And we're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. Like I said, I did change this up. This card actually only has the one layer of the early espresso. And I just wasn't very happy with it after it was all finished. So, no time like the present to switch it up a little bit. And then we can see what one extra layer does when you're creating a card. Okay, so we're going to layer this. See, I got a little piece on there. Layer this on the front of the card, making sure I have it straight. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I mean, there's not a tremendous difference, but there is just a little difference adding that extra layer to the front of your card. Now I'm just going to grab another dimensional. I just want to stick it right under here. Just like that. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so now we're going to add this layer, and again, this card is full of dimensionals, lots of layers. So this is a card that would need extra postage. And we're just going to add this using dimensionals. And we're going to make sure that we line this up with the edge. Plus, we want to keep the sentiment in mind. So that looks good right about there. I want to make sure that's even. Right there. Okay. And there's that layer. So we're going to grab our leaves, our embossed leaves, and we're going to put these up, this one up on dimensionals also. Like I said, this card has lots and lots of layers. Gonna have to fool with my camera tomorrow. I'm so disappointed. Okay, so you want to just look to see. As you can see, it wouldn't look good this way. So I'm going to turn it so it goes with the curves a little bit and make sure that before I push it down, that I have just about the same space on each side. And that looks good. And then we're going to add all our little leaves that we punched out. We're just going to add some glue and tuck it under. Let's grab one of these. I'll put this right under here. And I noticed that I did not stamp this piece. If you'll see, if you notice, I stamped leaves on this one. I missed that spot, right? Missed that step on this card. So I'll make sure I add that when I do the PDF. I'll leave it for this card. I don't want to take it apart right now, but I will add that in the directions so you know and don't miss stamping this piece, because it does make a difference in what it looks like. So I'm just going to add these leaves, and then again another layer, so you can see I have 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of dimensionals. So this would definitely be a card that would require extra postage. Let's grab one of these and we'll stick it under here. And then we're going to grab one of our acorns, stick it on this side, grab another acorn, add it over here, and let's just grab one more leaf and we'll stick it right under here. And then we'll add some gems. Now the gems you're not going to believe, and they really do go perfect. I grabbed the champagne rhinestones. I think they look really nice. It pulls the cinnamon cider color into the rhinestone, which is really nice. I like the effect. I ran out of, oops, got a piece, where'd it go? Okay, let's grab another one, not sure where it went. So these are the champagne rhinestones. Oh, there it is, right there. And like I said, it just pulls that cinnamon cider out a little bit, which is really nice. So let me just put these back. And that's the front of your card. So like I said, I will add the step of stamping the leaves on this curvy layer, because as you can see, it does make a big difference adding these stamped leaves. So that's what I'll do. So now let's get into the inside. Very simple inside. The only thing different is I'm using early espresso instead of the cinnamon cider on the inside. And again, this one, all I did to make it nice and quick and easy, because we don't want too much frill when it comes to a mail card. So I just took some of my added leaves and one of the acorns, so we can tie the center of the card to the outside of the card. We're going to adhere. This is very vanilla to our early espresso. And I'm going to leave that card open there, because if you were with me a few weeks ago, I did the inside of my card, and I ended up putting the layer I did into the card that was already finished. So it was just a little bit of a mess up. So we're going to make sure we get it right, put it inside the right card, and again, I could use Stamp and Seal, but It just gives me an extra second or two to make sure this layer is in there properly. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Layers make a difference. Like I said, you really can't tell all that much. In person you can, but that added layer just makes a big difference. And so does stamping the background. Really big difference. So don't forget that when you create yours. Okay, so let's start this cute little candy holder. And again, your dimensions will be in a PDF tomorrow in the group. But while I create this little piece, it's 7 by 3 1/4, and it is scored at 1/2, 1, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and 4. And you know, when you fold on your score lines, I usually fold it bump side in. But if I was to do that, this is going to be the outside of the card that I put my layers on. So I'm going to fold it in the opposite direction because I want the nice finished side here. So we're just going to fold on our score lines. And it's funny that you really can see if you score, it looks like a right and a wrong side. Okay, so this is going to fold up quick and easy. So where this is going to be the right side of the front, let's just take care of those things first. So I'm going to put a layer of the early espresso, and then I'm going to put the bumblebee. But before I do that, and I could have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. I am just going to, we're going to use just the one maple leaf, and I'll do it in the soft suede first. I'm just going to stamp this piece. Just give it a little character. And when you do stamp it, you don't want to stamp them all in the same direction. So you just want to turn your paper or turn your stamp. Give it a little bit of character. We'll just put a little end there. And a little end there. And we'll put that away for now. We're going to grab our Versamark, and it's going to get loud again. But we're going to just do the same thing on this layer. Make sure you move it around a little. I'm going to put one right here. And we're just going to emboss this, give it a little character. Give me a second to heat this up. Like the picnic basket last week, this is another quick and easy project that you could use for craft fairs. It takes a small amount of paper, and it is quick and easy to put together. So we're just going to adhere this, and you don't really see too much of the embossing, but it is there. Just want to move this up a little bit. Okay, get this out of the way. And again, this is the front. So we're just going to adhere this to this front panel, making sure it's even top and bottom. And then I have little pieces that we're going to adhere to the two panels beside here, making sure that it's lined up. And I'm doing that just to add a little character to those panels, because you do see them. Usually always in the details. Okay, so then we're going to grab some tearing tape. Let me see where my cap is. And I'm going to put a line of tearing tape as close to that score line as I can and rip it off. And then if anybody knows me, I usually do not take the paper off until I'm ready to fold. But I just want to make sure, let me fold that in a little bit. I just want to make sure that there is adhesive on this whole piece, because it'll make it a heck of a lot easier to slide that little candy bar into the opening when it's created. Now these, I believe they're the fun size. Comes in a bag, just so you know, but you'll have the dimensions tomorrow. Okay, so we're just going to remove that paper, fold this over, and make sure I have it right. And we are going to line it up with that last score line there. And there is the little box. Quick and easy little box. I have a layer of early espresso and then my layer of very vanilla. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to grab our soft suede and we're going to stamp a leaf. Let's stamp one in this corner. Then the other two corners, instead of using the acorn, let me see where my stamp set is, because I didn't take it out. We're going to use this cute little pine cone, and we're going to do the same thing with the pine cone. Soft suede. Such a really nice stamp. It stamps so nicely. I love it. There's so much detail in it. And this is the coloring part of the pine cone. So I'm going to stamp it and then stamp off. And I'm just going to pull this towards me so I can get this lined up. I'm just going to fill in the color. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Stamp off. Fill in that color. Really, really pretty stamp. I love it. Okay, so we're going to grab the Merry Christmas. I'm not really sure if I pulled it out or not. And I did. What did I do with it? I thought I had all my stamps. We may have to grab a different one. What did I do with it? It's not in the case. So that means I pulled it out. There's my leaves. Wow. Okay, let's grab something different. Not really too sure where I put my Merry Christmas. Oh, here it is. Put it in the wrong box. You know, I wanted to tell you before when I was making the card, you'll notice that um, the stamps for this curvy set are curved. Now, I usually, piece of hair, it's really, really flimsy and, you know, the rubber is, so it's pliable. Instead of adding it to my block, I like to take it and very carefully just put it down on the paper the way it would stamp, and then adhere it to your block so it doesn't lose its shape for stamping. Because sometimes you could put it down and just not put it down the proper way. So you may want to keep that in mind. Okay, so Merry Christmas. We're not going to put it on there. I did do that at first, and I didn't like the way it looked. So I grabbed another piece of Very Vanilla, and we're just going to stamp Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use this label punch. I may have to cut some off here so I can get in the punch. Make sure Merry Christmas is centered and straight. And punch that out. Like I said, as you can see, all my little strips and scraps. I'm trying to use up everything I have. And then I'm just going to punch it out in cinnamon. And then we are going to cut that in half. And we're just going to give this a little edge. It just adds a little extra detail. Just be careful, the glue takes a couple minutes, so this may shift a little bit. You don't want it to before you have both of them on. So just make sure that they're even. And it just gives it a nice, instead of it being, oops, very vanilla on very vanilla, it just gives that little edge. Okay. I think it's my autofocus. Okay, so we're going to take this, and here we go again with the dimensionals. This is a sheet of dimensionals project tonight. And we're just going to pop this up. And I want to apologize for not being able to see my comments. I will answer them as soon as I get done with on stage at home. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. Okay, we're just going to make sure it's on here even. I'm just going to grab my corner punch and punch these corners. I'm going to do the same to this one. Now, before you punch them, make sure you have it in the right direction, because this piece is longer in height than it is in width. So you want to make sure you get the right color, the right corners before you punch them. And we're just going to layer this on. And let's grab some leaves. We'll put this one on this side. We'll grab this, put it on this side. This little one we're going to pop up. I love cards with layers and dimensions, as you can tell. It just gives the card some character. And then I guess we can always, I have one in this color. Let's grab another leaf here. And we'll stick it right under here. Make sure that's nice and dry. Add some glue. Oops, before I put this on, let's just make sure we get these corners. And we're going to add this to the front, making sure it's on there straight. And then you're just going to take your little candy, and it fits perfectly right in that space. That's what I did with I'm using the faux suede, and we're just going to tie this in a quick little bow. I wasn't going to put a bow because I figured it was a little masculine, but you know what? Bows never hurt anybody. So let's just tie this in a quick bow. I missed my, I usually do a YouTube on Tuesdays, and I didn't do it this week because of Election Day. There was no time for me to even fit it into my day, so I'll probably do it on a different day this week. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gal Friday Stamping, and you'll get notification when I go live. I'm going to be concentrating on coloring with Stampin' Blends. So here are tonight's projects, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoyed making them. And I just want to remind you about the Tag Buffet Zoom class that I'll be having on December 4th. Purchase the Tag Buffet kit before December 4th at item number 153649, and use this host code, and I will send you the link to the class the day before we're going to have that. You'll get to create tags with the kit instructions, and then we're going to do alternative projects, and you'll get a free PDF for the alternative. So it's going to be a fun class. I hope to see you there. Have a great night. I will see you on the other side. Thanks for joining. I'll look at my messages as soon as I'm done here. Have a great night. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.